I came home after months working undercover thinking maybe for once I could just be a regular guy. Walk through my own front door, put my feet up, smell a little motor oil, and pretend life was simple. But you ever have that gut punch moment where your whole world just drops out from under you? That was me standing in my empty garage staring at the ghost stains where my cars used to be, hands shaking so bad I thought I might just collapse right there on the concrete. All that was left were oil shadows and my dad's old tools, bits of our life scattered everywhere. No Mustang, no Challenger, just air and pain. See, that '67 Mustang wasn't just a car. It was my father's grief project after Mom passed, the way he clawed back from heartbreak one greasy bolt at a time. And that black '70 Challenger, I dreamed about that car as a kid, and somehow against all odds we brought her roaring back to life. Nearly $180,000 of family history crushed at a junkyard for $500 scrap. Why? Because the HOA president, Priscilla Hawthorne, classic Karen with a taste for power and pearls, decided my rusty old eyesores were dragging down the neighborhood. You know what stings most? She smirked when I confronted her. Did the whole neighborhood a favor, Benny? She said like she'd done me a kindness. She forged paperwork, pocketed the fines, looked me dead in the eye, and told me I should be grateful. I'd seen con artists, thieves worse, but that was the first time I felt robbed on a soul level. But here's where her grand plan went sideways. I'm Detective Adrian Blackwood, Auto Theft Division. Not just a badge, but a guy who grew up with grease under his nails and too much to lose. She picked the wrong neighbor to mess with. Now let me pull you back to where this mess began. Before all the undercover stuff, before the uniforms, before the badge, I was just a kid with a ratchet standing in the garage while Dad told stories about Detroit muscle and better days. After Mom died, he threw himself into rebuilding that Mustang, said the roar of a V8 was the only thing that could drown out the quiet in our house. It was our therapy. Weekends, stained hands, laughter under the hood, and sometimes, quiet tears. We rebuilt that fastback from a rusted shell. 3 years later, she was cherry red and mean enough to wake the dead 3 blocks over. Dad never got over losing Mom, but fixing that car together. That's how he showed me love, even when the words stuck in his throat. When I made detective, he helped me pick up a Challenger black as sin white stripes, sharp enough to cut your dreams. We fixed her up before Dad's heart finally gave out. Every Saturday, I'd drive the Mustang to the cemetery, sit there, talk to the old man, feel the rumble in my chest, like he was still riding shotgun. 3 years back, I moved into Maplewood Estates. Nice lawns, big trees, that fake suburban peace you see on postcards. The HOA seemed reasonable until I met Priscilla. She ran the place like her own private kingdom. If you've ever met someone who could turn a dandelion into a federal offense, you know the type. She measured mailbox heights, wrote certified letters about doorbells, even policed the color of my welcome mat. But it was my cars she hated most. She'd snoop around my garage windows with her phone, snapping pictures like a wildlife documentarian stalking an endangered species. I jumped through every hoop, kept the garage spotless cars covered, even put in a $2,000 ventilation system to stop her whining about chemical fumes. But Priscilla had bigger plans. My corner lot, prime real estate for her son's construction company, if only she could get rid of me. Then came my undercover assignment, 3 months off the grid. No contact, no safety net. Before I left, I prepped everything. Even asked Floyd, the retired postman next door, to keep an eye on things. The cars were locked up, batteries on tenders, garage sealed tight. Priscilla saw her chance. While I was out risking my life taking down drug runners, she forged violation notices, backdated documents, and made my cars disappear. I came home to nothing. That was it, the opening shot in her war. But you don't mess with a cop's memories and expect him to roll over. I went straight into detective mode, used department resources to pull up the paperwork from the junkyard. It was sloppy. Priscilla had backdated violations, forged my signature. She didn't even bother with the legal notice. According to the law, she needed to give me 30 days warning sent by certified mail before even thinking about moving those cars. She just skipped it all and made up her own rules. So I paid her a visit. She was in the middle of her weekly book club, a murder of suburban crows with wine glasses and fake sympathy. She tried to justify herself, flashed her evidence photos of water stains, not oil from my sprinklers, but it was enough for her. Emergency health hazard removal, she claimed, waving documents at me like she was orchestrating an orchestra of lies. But it wasn't just me. Turns out Priscilla had done this before. 6 other homeowners, all single men or minorities, all targeted, all run out of town. Her cut 15% commission on all the administrative recoveries. She was running a shakedown ring, not a neighborhood. She kept pushing. Filed a complaint with my department, accused me of intimidation, tried to get me suspended, turning my badge, my whole career, into a weapon against me. I wasn't allowed to work my own case. Then she got a restraining order based on lies from her book club gang. Suddenly, I couldn't even go to HOA meetings or collect my own mail. That's when Floyd stepped in. Turns out he'd been documenting Priscilla stealing certified mail, steaming open HOA letters, tossing appeals in her own trash. Federal crime, 5 years per count. He handed me a fat envelope, photographic gold. Meanwhile, Priscilla went nuclear, complained to my department that I was mentally unstable, unfit for duty, suggested I was a danger to the community. She wanted me fired so she could swoop in for the kill, foreclose my house, sell it to her son's company, and walk away richer. But she slipped, tried to list my house through a local real estate agent, not knowing the agent was married to a detective in my precinct. That's when the puzzle pieces all snapped together. It wasn't just HOA drama, it was organized real estate fraud with mail tampering, forged signatures, and a money trail straight to the IRS. Her biggest mistake. She'd been serving as HOA president while owing $47,000 in federal taxes, legally disqualifying her from holding the office. Every action she took was void. The entire foundation of her power gone. With Floyd's evidence, my records, and a few calls to the FBI, we built a RICO case, racketeering, mail fraud, tax evasion, the works. The trap was set. We coordinated with news crews, prosecutors, even brought in the feds. I played the part of a broken man, packed boxes in my windows, acted defeated, let her think she'd won. Then, during a packed emergency HOA meeting with Priscilla at her podium, ranting about my reign of terror, I made my move. Walked in badge in hand, FBI in the back, news cameras rolling. Priscilla shrieked about restraining orders and personal vendettas didn't matter. Agent Sterling stood up, flashed her credentials. I unfolded an evidence board, photos, bank records, victim stories. The crowd gasped as the truth hit home. Priscilla wasn't a savior. She was a con artist, a thief, a federal criminal. Her son tried to defend her. He got arrested for conspiracy. Floyd laid out the mail tampering evidence for everyone to see. Channel 7 got it all on tape. Handcuffs clicked shut like justice ringing a bell. Priscilla was done. 6 months later, I stood in my garage, now full again, breathing deep the smell of Castrol GTX and victory. The Mustang ran better than ever. The community rebuilt. Priscilla got 6 years in federal prison, lost everything she'd stolen. Her son lost his law license. The HOA finally had real transparency. The Veterans Auto Restoration Scholarship we started in the wake of all this, helping military families heal through cars, became my pride and joy. The best twist. The neighborhood came together like never before. We helped each other rebuild not just garages, but trust. Even that old Challenger got a new life thanks to Miguel, the Navy vet Priscilla once tried to ruin. Working on those engines together was therapy for us both. And me, I finally found peace, even managed to fall in love at a car show, fittingly with a Marine veteran rebuilding her own family classic. It's funny how disaster can create family where you least expect it. In the end, Priscilla's downfall wasn't about me getting my cars back or seeing her go to prison, though I'd be lying if I said it wasn't satisfying. The real victory was seeing neighbors stand up, finding strength in community, and proving that even in the suburbs, karma keeps perfect score. So here's my question for you. When does standing up for yourself cross the line? Where's the boundary between justice and revenge, between protecting what's yours and becoming what you hate? Drop your own HOA horror stories or thoughts below. I want to hear where you draw the line. And if you've ever faced down a bully in your own neighborhood, tell me how you found your justice. Let's get a real conversation going.